Welcome to the Billionaire Mindset, your 30-day journey to thinking like a billionaire. Now you can just watch this video, or if you want to sign up for the entire series for free and get the bonus PDF companion calendar, check the link in the description below. Today is day 27, and we're going to learn how billionaires continue to work hard on their dreams. Enjoy.
You need to work, depending on how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hard up we had just one computer. So the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night. 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard, like, every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company.
What would be one word of advice you would have for an upcoming businessman, for a future businessman? Or woman.
Knowledge. Knowledge. But if it's one word's very hard for that, but the word is knowledge. But you get knowledge through experience. One of the things people talk about is luck. And I do believe that people are lucky, and some people are luckier than others. I do believe that. But there's also an expression, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I can tell you 10 instances where I didn't quit when it was 1990, the world was coming down, the debt markets were to everybody, all of my friends and enemies were going bankrupt. I never did. And the times were actually just terrible. And even today, you look at times and you see what happens, and you have to learn. But the word luck is very interesting. But if I didn't work really hard, I probably would not, almost definitely would not be here today. And unless you had me up as a man who at one point was successful, but let's see what a loser looks like. So you have to work hard, because it is true, you can develop luck through hard work.
Most people do a lot of talking, and most people don't put in the effort. There's nothing you can accomplish in life with the right amount of work. The challenge is, are you willing to do the work? And the reality is, most people aren't, but that's the opportunity, right? It's like people at school. Most people are lazy, right? They barely get through it, and so that creates opportunity. Some people they get on the show and they think, I don't have to work anymore, I don't have to work as hard, or if I get an investor, it'll be easier, and it never works that way. Or they stop paying attention to detail, right? I've had a couple companies where it's like, all right, I'll hire people to do all the work. It's your company, it's your baby. You've got to do, if you're not going to do the work, who is? And I've always felt, in terms of leadership, that my job is to put everybody around me in a position to succeed. And if I'm walking around the arena here, I'm picking up junk on the ground, I'm, helping customers, I'm trying to, convey to everybody that there's not a job that you would do that I wouldn't do myself. And a lot of entrepreneurs that fail, they lose track of that. They think, I'm the boss. I had a job one time, and I was a horrible employee, where the president of the company spent more time telling me how I should dress than trying to help me close sales. So you've got to do the work, and that's key. I tell my kids that A, if they want something, they're going to have to earn it. And B, if they don't work hard enough to earn it, I'm going to sell them off as medical experiments. That's the line in our house, right? I'm going to sell you off as medical experiments. You need money? Okay, we'll sell you off as a medical experiment. We can get you money that way. I'll go give blood. Dad, I'm 7. I don't care.
Working at Your Business Software, it actually went really good for a while because
I didn't have a tech background, and so it gave me the opportunity to teach myself. And I found out that I liked tech, which was shocking to me. And so I would sit in there and use the computers and teach myself all the software from way back when, the WordStars, the WordPerfects, the Peachtree softwares for those of us that go way back when. And one day, and mind you, I'm living in a 3-bedroom apartment with 6 guys. 6 23, 24-year-old guys. However nasty you think it is, it was worse. I didn't have a closet. I didn't have a drawer. I had a pile. And I wear contacts. But I wear my glasses at night. And I didn't have any money, so I broke my glasses, and I would tape them up, and they'd tear them apart, and hide one piece here, one piece there. Oh, it was an adventure. But so one day I'm living in this hole, and I get the opportunity to close a big deal, and it was going to be $1,500 commission to me. I'm like, yes, sir, let's go. And I call my boss, a guy named Michael Humecki, and I said, Michael, I've got this deal. And part of my job responsibilities were sweeping the floor. It was a retail store, sweeping the floor, making sure the windows were clean and opening it up. And I've got, one of my fellow employees all set to do all that. I call him up and say, Michael, it's a $15,000 sale, but I need to go pick it up before work. I won't be there to open things up. He goes, no, I need you to open up the store. I'm like, I got it covered. And I make the executive decision that I'm going to go pick up the check, and I'm going to hand him the check, and he's going to forget all about it, and we're all going to be friends, and I'll make my commission. Fired me for disobeying him. I haven't seen him since, but
that was probably the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, right. But in any event, but it made me realize that I need to work for myself again. That I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and so I just took it. It's not. This is what it is, and so I couldn't take the $1,500 commission. It was his company. It was his sale, and so I found another customer that I'd been talking to, a prospect, a company called Architectural Lighting, and here I am sleeping in the hole with no job and desperate. But I convinced this company, Architectural Lighting, there was a piece of software that I wanted to sell them for $500, and I told them it cost me $250, and that I would make it work and train them on it and support them if they would loan me the $250 to buy the software up front. And if it didn't work for whatever reason, I'd walk their dogs, clean their cars, scrub their toilets, whatever it took to pay them back. And fortunately, it worked, and that led to another customer, led to another customer. That was a company called Micro Solutions. Over the next 7 years, I didn't take a vacation, taught myself how to program, taught myself, more about technology, networking than I thought I would ever know. And we grew to, give or take 36 million in sales, 80 employees, and I sold it back, 1990, I guess. Time flies, for $6 million, but for a 29, 30-year-old kid, that was real money, and so then it's big money, and not that it's not now, it really is, but it's just, to get from the time of getting fired to getting to 80 employees and 36 million in sales, literally not one vacation.
My television career began unexpectedly. As you heard this morning, I was in the Miss Fire Prevention contest. That was when I was 16 years old in Nashville, Tennessee, and you had the requirement of having to have red hair in order to win up until the year that I entered. So they were doing the question and answer period because I knew I wasn't going to win in the swimsuit competition. So during the question and answer period, the question came, why, young lady, what would you like to be when you grow up? And by the time they got to me, all the good answers were gone. So I had seen Barbara Walters on the Today Show that morning, so I answered, I would like to be a journalist. I would like to tell other people's stories in a way that makes a difference in their lives and the world. And as those words were coming out of my mouth, I went, whoa, this is pretty good. I would like to be a journalist. I want to make a difference. Well, I was on television by the time I was 19 years old. And in 1986, I launched my own television show with a relentless determination to succeed. At first, I was nervous about the competition, and then I became my own competition, raising the bar every year, pushing myself as hard as I knew. Sound familiar to anybody here? Eventually, we did make it to the top, and we stayed there for 25 years. The Oprah Winfrey Show was #1 in our time slot for 21 years. And I have to tell you, I became pretty comfortable with that level of success. I have paid attention to my life because I understand that my life, just like your life, is always speaking to you, where you are, in the language, with the people, with the circumstances and experiences that you can understand and interpret if you are willing to see that always life, God, is speaking to you. Now, it took me a while to actually really get this and to understand it, but once I did, I started paying attention to everything. And one of the reasons why I can now accept the fact that I can offer my gatherings of information and wisdom and call myself a spiritual teacher is that every single person who ever came on my show, and I hear there's like 37,000 guests I've talked to, a lot of them came from dysfunction and a lot of them wouldn't appear to be teachers, but every one of them had something to say that was meaningful and valuable and that I could use to grow myself into the best of myself, which is what all of our jobs are. Your #1 job is to become more of yourself and to grow yourself into the best of yourself.
Life is short, life should be fun, and it should be fun, not, it should be, if the chairman of the company is having fun, if you go to a party and, if I let my hair down and I'm the first to be thrown in the swimming pool and I'm not just standing in the corner of the room sipping sherry or something, then everybody will have a laugh and everybody will have fun. If you're chairman of the company, be the first to dance on the table. Just get everybody else up dancing on the table and make sure the party's a laugh. So play hard and work hard, and follow certain principles in life. Love people. Make sure you make a positive difference in this world while you're on it.
How early in life did your relentless ambition begin? Did this happen when you were very young? You alluded to the fact that you sold papers at age 6 or something.
Well, I don't know. It just I don't really feel like I'm that ambitious.
Oh, come on. I'd hate to follow you around for a week.
Yeah, well, I just work hard, but I know a lot of people that work hard. My father worked hard and set an example for me, and I know a lot of people that work hard.
What does it mean, working hard? What is your day like?
Work hard is, hustle all day long. You talk about hustlers. Pete Rose on the baseball field. I try and do that all day long. Yeah. And that's what I think we need to do here in America. I mean, the people working in the American automobile industry, we got to out-hustle the Japanese. We've got to get that roll up our sleeves and get back to work, and then we'll get this country out of trouble. We can do anything better than anybody else in the world.
You bet your life. There's no
But if we got to reawake that spirit, that's what I try and do with the Atlanta Braves, is get everybody hustling, because it sets a good example for the people that are watching the program.
You should work to earn to be helped. Right? So, in order to encourage my 17 founders and all the people who joined us, I said, our competitors are very strong. At that time, our competitor was eBay. A lot of the eBay guys graduate from Harvard. We are people graduate from no I don't want to even mention about the university names. Well, nobody. But I say, if we can win, if we can succeed, 80% of the young people in China, in the world, can be successful. Because we believe we work, a lot of them have dreams, but they don't work hard. A lot of work hard, but they don't have dreams. Entrepreneurs should work plus dreams. In this way, we can win.
Who works harder? The people at eBay or the people at Alibaba?
Sometimes you have not only have to work hard, you have to work smart.
So would you say you work smarter than eBay? I'd have to say yes, right?
Well, so far.
Yeah, so far. Okay.
Because I think, we are pretty lucky people. And the people say, you work very hard. True, in this world, there's so many people work very hard. But they're not that. I told my team when we IPO'd, I asked a lot of people sitting there, I say, all of you guys, most of you guys, millionaires and so rich. But 15 years ago, who are we? It's so difficult for us to hire people 15 years ago. People who are not that bad. I said, people can still walk on the street. We hire them. Because nobody believes internet. And they join the company. Those people who believe they're smart, they were headhunted to the other company. They set up their own company. Those people, nobody go to headhunting them. They stayed. Today they become successful. Very key reasons, we insist, we persist, we never give up. Okay. We believe the dreams together.
We had been working day and night. These were pretty maniacal days in terms of work was everything. Even, I didn't believe in weekends or vacations. The team pretty broadly had worked super, super hard. The marketing people had figured out how to take this phenomena and, create a lot of excitement around it.
I worked most of my life. In high school, there was stewards cleaners. After school would go there, I would put the drape on the hanger, the sleeve on the hanger, and the janitor of all the cleaners. Clean everything up. I worked for $1.25 an hour. The only reason it was $1.25 an hour is because the steward had to pay that. It was required by law, or he'd be giving me 50 cents an hour. He was a very tightwad guy. So I come in one day after school, and he says to me to go to work, he says, Johnny, come here, I want to talk to you. I said, okay. Talk to the steward, he says, Johnny, I was upstairs yesterday, and I napped after I finished working. I was tired, and I dropped my watch on the floor. I put it on the table, went on the floor, and I went down, I picked it up, and I noticed under the cot I was laying on, there was no dust. I moved the cot. There was no dust. I looked behind the filing cabinets. There was no dust there whatsoever. Zero dust. You really are a great janitor. I said, it's my job to do what I do when I do it, not when someone else is looking. Tightest guy in the world gave me a 25-cent raise to $1.50. Where I went to high school, I was the highest paid kid and maybe adult in the neighborhood. We didn't have a lot of money in those days. What it was if humans can imagine doing what you have to do when nobody is watching you, you're doing as if someone is right there watching you. And in your free time, you're not trying to elongate something. You're doing what you should do without people watching you do it.
Pick areas you think are interesting, that could be valuable, where there's a lot of activity. I was interested in links because I knew no one else was really looking at the links on the web. And I figured, you could probably do something with them. And I think that's true of many of these areas where people do interesting things. I also think it's really important for us when we were working on this. We had many people, Sergey and I and a couple of other people, who worked tremendously hard. And I think that was an important part of making all this work.
Many of you will tell me that, will tell you that you're crazy. You have to be a little crazy to invest the amount of time and energy that it takes to start a new business. You have to put in long hours and give weekends up, no more time with the family. You have to take financial risks. But building something from the ground up really is one of the most rewarding things that you can ever do. And every day it's an opportunity to experiment, and every day it's an opportunity to try new things.
I'm not smarter than anybody else, but I can outwork you. And my key to success for you or for anybody else is make sure you're the first one in there every day and the last one to leave. Mm-hmm. Don't ever take a lunch break or go to the bathroom. You keep working. You never know when that opportunity is going to come along. And at Solomon Brothers, the managing partner of the company, Bill Solomon, was the second person in. I was the only other one in the big trading room. So if he needed to borrow a match, in those days people smoked cigars, and if he wanted to ask something about a newspaper or a stock, he came over, and so we became buddies. I would never have gotten to talk to the managing partner of a big company on a first-name basis if it wasn't for the fact that the two of us are there. Billy, I'm getting coffee. Would you like some? And I can bring, that. And at the end of the day, the number 2 guy, John Goodfriend, he was the last one to leave, except for me. And we'd share a cab going uptown or take the subway train going uptown together. And, every opportunity I ever had, it was, I think a lot of them was because I was there at the time. And that's the one thing you can control. You can't control your luck, but the harder you work, the luckier you get. You can't control that you're the smartest guy. There'll always be somebody smarter. But if you're there, then you absorb things, you put things together in ways that if you didn't have all that experience, it's like skiing. I've said, reading a book on skiing doesn't teach you how to ski.
Yeah.
You got to go and you got to ski and get lots of miles under your skis. And incidentally, if you don't fall, you're not skiing hard enough and you're not learning anything. So if your career has ups and downs, I got fired, didn't turn out so bad. But, you can start a little business and maybe it doesn't work. And after a while, you got to be smart enough to say, hey, I tried it. Don't let your ego get in the way. I can't keep doing this. I've got to earn a living. But, a year from now, I'm going to come up with a better idea and then I'll go back and do it again.
It's funny, sometimes I talk to my wife about this, but hard work is super important in life. And now, I grew up in Berkeley, I didn't have any money. I played for the football for the Yellow Jackets. I was just a kid in the neighborhood. And now I have a lot of money. And so with my kids, I'm okay, now that I'm rich, how do I teach you the value of hard work? Because that's really the only important lesson that I've got. But for all of you, I think most of you out of public university probably know a little of the value of hard work. Keep that lesson. That's the important, that work is what's important. It's that effort where you learn the secrets that are super valuable and can change people's lives and change the world.
There's a Latin expression which I think is great. I love it. It was in a now very old movie called The Dead Poets Society. But the line of the movie was carpe diem, seize the day. The opportunities are there, but you got to reach out and pick them up. You've got to grab at them. Some of you may have already done that at the U, in your classes, in other students that you met, in your extracurricular activities, but grab them. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because you know what you can do if you grab the wrong one? Drop it and pick up another one. It's okay. Seize the day. I think back of all of the luck, but also the times that were in front of me to seize the day. I don't know what got me to drop out of business school and come to Microsoft. My parents thought I was a whack job. Neither one of them graduated college, and they thought this was really a wild idea. I was lucky. I seized the day. Microsoft. One day, some guys fly in from IBM, and all of a sudden we figure out we could actually provide all the software they need for this thing that became the personal computer. People, Bill, Paul, they had the wisdom to seize the day when that opportunity presented itself. And yet, when you think of all the opportunities, when I think back of all the opportunities I've had, the one that was most important was an opportunity I got in 1969. Sitting in my junior high school class, I was in a public junior high, not very stimulated at the time, and over the loudspeaker, they said that a private high school in our area that I'd never heard of was giving scholarship tests that weekend. I told my mother I wanted to take them. She said, that's fine as long as you get a scholarship, because we can't afford to send you there. But that's really where I got switched on. Switched on in math, switched on personally, energized in a way that never could be turned back. And I am very thankful for that opportunity. Yes, there's a lot of luck in opportunity, but there's a lot of seizing the day. And I encourage you all to reach out and carpe diem, really seize the opportunities that are in front of you.
A young person starting their career, I think there are probably a lot of things. Some of them are very well known and people have heard them many times, they're still true. One of those is you should always focus on, a young person should find something that they're passionate about to do. And that's not going to surprise anyone. It's a clear thing to do. It's very hard. If you don't love your work, you're never going to be great at it. I think the other thing I would suggest to any young person, even before they start their career, is to really think about their choices. Because I find young people, and when I was young, I made this mistake too. You can get very fixed on your gifts. So everybody has gifts. You know, you have gifts and you have things that you didn't get gifted. Maybe you're extremely beautiful. Maybe you're extremely good at mathematics. There are a lot of things that you can be given. But those things can confuse you because they're not the things that construct your life. It's your choices that construct your life, not your gifts. You can celebrate your gifts. Be proud of them. Be happy of them. Actually, don't be proud of them. Be celebratory of them. But you can't be proud because they're gifts. They were given to you. You didn't earn them. You can only be proud of the things you earn. And so, as I got older, I started to realize I wasn't proud of my gifts. I was always good at school. School was always easy for me. And I was always proud that I was a great student. I got A's in all my classes. I was good at math, all of that. And I thought that's who I was. But it's not true. Those are the things that are gifts. What was hard for me is deciding to work hard, deciding to use my gifts in certain ways, to challenge myself, to do things that I didn't think I could do, to put myself in uncomfortable situations. I would say to a young person, you can choose a life of ease and comfort, or you can choose a life of service and adventure. Which one of those, when you're 90 years old, are you going to be more proud of? We all have adversity in our lives. I doubt if you really, if you know somebody, any friend or anybody that you talk to, there's no lack of adversity. And by the way, that's good because it's what teaches us how to get back up. You fall down, you get back up. It always happens. And you get certain gifts in life, and you want to take advantage of those. But I guess my advice on adversity and success would be to be proud not of your gifts, but of your hard work and your choices. So, you may be, the kinds of gifts you get in life, you might be really good at math. It might be really easy for you. That's a kind of gift. But practicing that math and taking it to the next step, that could be very challenging and hard and take a lot of sweat. That's a choice. You can't really be proud of your gifts because they were given to you. You can be grateful for them and thankful for them. But your choices, you choose to work hard. You choose to do hard things. Those are choices that you can be proud of.
試過香港電台有一次呢，選嗰個風雲人物，咁嗰陣時你哋訪問我講過一句説話。
李生啊，我想請問你今日嘅成功與運氣嘅關係有幾多呢？
我咁講，我不能否認呢個時勢做英雄呢點。第一，我根本就唔係英雄。我嗰陣時咧，我講得添嘅。今日我再坦白啲，再可以講多啲。最初嗰一段嘅事業咧，幾乎100%係靠冇命運可言嘅，靠你嘅工作，嗰個辛苦，你嘅工作能力而掙到錢嘅，投入好緊要。你要對你嘅事業係有興趣。今日你對你嘅事業有興趣咧，你一定個工作可以做得好。
I remember my dad died when I was 10 years old. He didn't have a problem with work. He said work is good. He said more work is better. He said lots of work is even better than that. And if you could get a whole bunch of people working together, you could actually accomplish something. Now, fast forward, to somewhere in the last 20 years, work became an addiction. Like, oh my God, you're a work addict, you're a compulsive work person, you're overachiever, you have problems in your life. I'm like, dude, the only problem I got in my life is that you telling me work is a bad thing. The more I work, the better I am. The more I get accomplished, the happier I am. The more I work and the more I accomplish, the better I feel about myself. I'm not trying to fill up a hole. I'm trying to reach my potential. LeBron shows up. This dude comes in 15 minutes before practice, and LeBron gives him that look like, hey, dude, what's going on here? He's like, what do you mean I'm 15 minutes early? He's like, should have been here an hour ago. And when he says that to this dude, the guy knows LeBron's been there for 2 hours. So all I ask you to do, like, here's a guy, probably the best that's ever walked out on a basketball court, short of Michael Jordan. But both of them had one thing in common. They worked, okay? It wasn't about just their talent. It was about their work ethic. People knew them for their work ethic. So just ask yourself this week, do people know you for your work ethic? Are people like, man, you work hard? Are people actually commenting about you showing up early and staying late? Because if they're not, then you're just blending in with everybody else's work ethic. At the end of the day, talent will not win the game. It is work ethic that will win the game. So when I saw this, I'm like, here's a guy, top of his game, got all the money you could possibly, he could never spend all his money. Impossible. He'll be a billionaire, okay? And he's showing up 2 hours early to make sure he plays the game, to make sure he's in physical condition, to make sure that he can stay in the game long past it. He doesn't even need it. He's got all his rings. I got to tell you, I was so inspired by it because I got a bunch of partners. I got guys that I do business with. I got one of them in particular that I'm having some problems with. He told me, man, if I had your money, dude, I would retire. He said it to me over and over, and I hadn't been listening to it enough to understand he wants to go lay down, okay? You cannot run, what's that thing called you did? You can't do an Ironman with that attitude. Don't know why you'd want to do an Ironman. But I tell you what, if you could do an Ironman and then take that and add it to your career, to the longevity of your career, you know, because look, it's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to be 20 years. You're going to look back and say, and the marketplace is going to reward whatever you do every day. Hey, what does Ryan Seacrest, Tom Cruise, Oprah, Steven Spielberg, Donald Trump, Joan Rivers, Warren Buffett, Gordon Ramsay, Michael Jordan, Kobe, Tim Tebow, what do those guys have in common? One thing, okay? And it's not because they're in Hollywood or doing something in Hollywood. They all have one major thing in common, dude. Unbelievable. And probably at the top of the list is Ryan Seacrest. When I say Ryan Seacrest, what do you think? American Idol? Radio? No. Ryan Seacrest. Look it up in the dictionary. It equals work ethic, okay? These people hammer. They beat it to death, okay? Look at Tom Cruise, man. Look at his career. He works constantly. So look, you want to get your work ethic so high that people actually admire you. I'm going to ask you a question right now. Do people know you because of your unbelievable work ethic? If you can't answer yes to that, man, you're not going to get in that top 10%. You got to get to the top. People have to know you, not because, oh, he's a good salesman. Oh, he's a good this. Oh, he's an artist. Oh, he's a good pianist. Oh, he writes a great, story. No, dude, people need to know you for one major thing first. He works. He produces. The guy's there every day. The guy's pushing and shoving. Because the truth is, no matter how good your ideas are, how good your art is, or how good your skill set is, if you're not working, man, if you're not vibrating at a frequency that people say, my God, how does that guy do all that? If you're not vibrating at that rate, 10x levels, massive action, tremendous work ethic that's just a muscle now, and it's just a discipline in your life, and it's a normal way that other people think is abnormal. Ryan Seacrest, Tom Cruise, Oprah, Steven Spielberg, Donald Trump, still pumping and working as a billionaire. Look, if you're not working at that level, you're not going to make it. Get your work ethic in, man. It's the American way. Work ethic. Check it out.
My question was actually about work ethic and self-discipline. And so for somebody to work as hard as you do, as long as you do, for as long as you have been, I mean, man, you don't stop. How can you work to develop a self-discipline that's just untouchable?
The work ethic's a big thing, man. Beat the sun up, that's one thing. There's not a formula. It's like, what do you have to do to build a work ethic? Beating the sun up, it's just you'll never feel bad because you beat the sun up. I don't care. You can bitch about it the whole morning, all the way up until you finally wake up, and then you're gonna be like, man, I'm sure glad this was awesome. There's something happens before suns come up that is different, the most different part of the day. It makes you feel good about yourself at the end of the day. On victories, I've seen so many people get sucked into their own victories. And because their work ethic's broken, they don't keep working. They're like, oh, pat on the back. I got my deal. Let's go, let's take a vacation. And you see the destruction of these people. You know, Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl. He that night, he's preparing for the next one. The work ethic is just, of all the top people, are so severe. So should be something. It's a great first question. It could be a whole book. Because one of the things, and the last thing I'll say on this is, this helps me, by the way, just you asking me this, really, the whole thing helps me. The work ethic thing is, it's also so that you start pushing whoever you're in a space with and you're competing with, you know, you want to do some flexing. And the flexing doesn't have to be the car, because you can't just keep buying cars. You can flex work ethic. There's no budget. You can't go broke on it. It's never going to be bad for you. It might bother your spouse. Kids, it's never going to bother kids. Don't kid yourself. The kids want you just enough, and then they're done. They're like, okay, get out of here. So that whole thing, they played this thing out in the 80s, I think, you know, kids need a quantity of time. The kids just need a quality time, but they don't want 3 hours. No kid wants 3 hours with their dad. Maybe yours does, mine doesn't. Am I right on this? I only have 2 kids, so I don't know. And at 17, 18 years old, they're not gonna want any of my time. And then they'll come back around later when they want money. And I'll be like, go get your own money. But the work ethic, you know, I do a lot of flexing on the work ethic thing to tell people where I've been, where I'm going, how much I'm going, what I'm doing. It's not for customers. It's for my staff, and it's for the competition, or anybody that thinks they're competition. And we're convinced I'm the most disliked speaker in the space by our contemporaries. Jared and I were talking about this the other day. There's guys, there's just, the space is very small that I'm in. So we know, everybody knows everybody. And I told Jared the other day, I said, the deal is they don't understand how I work like this, because they're not. They're picking up their $2 or $3 million a year, and they're like, man, I'm the posting on Instagram, getting their likes, probably buying them. And then they're like, look at me. And that's not what I want. And so they're like, why is he keep driven like this? Driven is it's a huge asset if you can tap into it. Because most people cannot tap into it. And this comes right out of the book, If You're Not First, You're Last. If you can do what other people can't do, if you do what they refuse to do, if you become an asset where they have liabilities, you will it's a natural crush. And work ethic's one of those things. Hey, hope you're doing well today. Really important message about simplicity, about what really matters. Don't let all the fancy cars, sparkles in the ceiling, logos on the seat backs, private aircraft, orange Lambos. Don't let all that fool you. Okay, none of that is who any of us are. Those are just things you buy. Hopefully you acquired it all by doing the right things. Look, I'm just a simple guy. Been working my ass off for 30 years. Showing up when I didn't want to. Doing whatever it takes. Figuring it out. Making little shifts and changes. Most of the time, don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Just want to let you know, man, it's popular now with Instagram and YouTube. Everybody's an expert. Everybody knows. Look, I do deals today. My first house I bought was $78,000. I'm doing a deal right now for $86 million. You're doing the deal the whole time. I'm like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I, you know? So if you're right more often than you're wrong, you win. That's the simplicity of it. You can't be right more than you're wrong if you don't swing, if you don't play the game, if you don't study, if you don't tweak, if you're not willing to make changes, if you're not willing to make new connections, hook up with new people, get new information. It's work. It's work. Bottom line, it's work. Fancy cars, the planes, the vacations. It's not an Instagram post, okay? It's not 7 or 8 words. It's not 104 characters. It's freaking work. It's everyday action. It's disappointments, discouragements, obstacles. It's barriers. If you're feeling down, if you're wondering why it's taking you so long, you go online, you go on Facebook or Instagram, and you see some guy with a Lambo or a Ferrari or whatever, the car you want, you know, a Rolls. And you're like, man, I want all that. Why don't I have all that? Trust me, okay? If he got it legit, and if he or she is able to keep it, because not everybody's going to keep all that shit they're showing off, you know that's true, then they worked, okay? They worked. There's no freaking like magic act, okay? Some online phenomenon that's going to like, whoa, that guy almost just jacked me, okay? It's work, man. It's disappointment, discouragements, it's barriers and obstacles. The guy that wins, the gal that wins is the person that thinks big and giant, never quits, refuses to quit, does whatever it takes no matter what. I wish this could be more instructional than it is. If you agree, post a comment. If you disagree, please post a comment. I love the disagreeers, okay? If you hate, well, look, we know you're not doing anything, okay? I just don't get the haters, man. The haters, like, you hating on me. When you hate on me, you don't do anything. You know, it's not a product. So, hope you're doing well. Hope you're following this channel. We drop video here, 2 and 3 different videos a day. Everything from real estate to finances, to sales, to marketing, promotion, to how to do a video while you're driving a car. It's crazy. So look, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing great. If you needed this right now, post it in comments. And if you like the channel, hey, give me a little like up. You know, just got back from Houston. We brought 27,145 individual supplies there and distribute them to people in need. Get yourself in a position where you can help more people. God bless. Be great. Help yourself first. Help yourself first. Get yourself right. And then you can help a whole bunch of other people too, okay? Don't be fooled by fancy cars. Dude, I'm in the desert right now doing deals, okay? I'm in, literally, look. What's the difference, 141 million or 140? $1 million on a $140 million deal, that means. Let's just do this thing and get it done. I'm out here in the desert. How hot is it out here?
At the moment, sir, I'll say about 100. Let me just get my...
It's a cool winter day. It's a cool...
Yeah, about 106.
It's 106 degrees out here, dude. Look at you jacking me around about what? $1 million? Let's do the deal. Just do the damn deal. Just say yes to me.
Now I've got some special bonus clips that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the Billionaire Mindset question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? Also, if you've already got your Billionaire Mindset Companion PDF calendar, get ready for another amazing video tomorrow. Or if you don't have it yet, you can get it for free in the first line of the description below. And if you're enjoying this Billionaire Mindset series, give me a hashtag Billionaire Mindset in the comments below so I can celebrate you. Hard work is your ticket in. No matter where you come from, what you look like, what your skills are, hard work is always the ticket in. The odds might be against you. Awesome. Now what? Quit on your dreams or keep working hard? How you answer that question will change your life. So I have an agent in New York, and when I first started the agency, I almost didn't get in. I didn't get in because I'm a weird case for them. My agent now, he looked at me back then, and this must have been 6 or 7 years ago by now, and he said, Evan, I love your message. The problem is you're not a very good communicator. And that hurt at the beginning because I had already done some speaking gigs. I'd already been making videos for 3 or 4 years. You know, I'd had hundreds, if not 1,000 videos already under my belt. And here he is saying that I suck at communicating. And he said the people that he typically works with are people who are already in media, who have tons of experience, who are great in front of the camera. They need help refining their message. He said, for you, I love your message. You've got a great message. You just suck at being able to communicate it. I'm like, oh, wow. And so, okay, great. Well, where do we go from here? And he said, I'm going to take a flyer on you. I don't normally do this. I'm going to take a flyer on you and see where you go. And I didn't want to waste my opportunity. I didn't even know that you could get an agent as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a speaker. I mean, I guess I heard of speaking houses, but an agent, I thought more entertainment or sports, not for business. So I didn't want to lose this opportunity. You know, I didn't want to regret not giving it my best. And so I said, okay, great. Tell me what I need to do. I'm the worst right now. Awesome. I don't have the skills that everybody else here has. How can I get better? What do I need to do? Tell me. And he said, okay, so your first challenge is I need you to make a bio video. I need you to tell your story, a foundation story video, make it 20 to 40 minutes long and record it. And I'm going to look at it and I'm going to give you my feedback on it. Okay, great. So I recorded it the next day and it was in the morning. I recorded it, sent it to him. He gave me feedback. And then at lunch, I recorded it again. He gave me feedback. I recorded it again in the evening. And I did it 30 to 40 times. That's a lot. Over the course of however many days, 10 to 12 days, I guess. I recorded the video over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Every time he gave me feedback, I do it again. Feedback, do it again. And I got better. And I got better. And over the course of a couple months, when I was making 3 videos a day, practicing, sucking, but just practicing and trying to get better and listening to feedback and trying to improve, I quickly became the best case at the agency. I quickly became the #1 person from views, from subscribers, from best practices. I copy what Evan's doing. Now I'm being brought on to help them with their clients and train some of them on how they can get better on YouTube and build their brand. From being the worst, from being the guy who almost didn't get in. Because the people who were joining them, one, maybe had bigger egos, but also were having a hard time finding the time to make a video a week. And if they're not making a video a week or having a hard time doing it, and I'm making 3 a day, even if I suck, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna outpace just because I'm willing to work, just because I'm putting in the effort. You might not have the skills, you might not have the talent, you might not have the looks, you might not have what you think you need to have. How does an introvert build a huge audience and spread a huge message and be famous on YouTube? I don't know. I mean, I'm working on it. Join me on my journey. We'll figure it out together. That was my agent's concern when I first got started. And I'm breaking the mold and doing things in a way that haven't been done. And you can do the same thing through hard work. Hard work doesn't guarantee your success. There's a lot of people who work really hard and never win. A lot of people who work 12-hour days and are doing minimum wage jobs. They're working hard and they don't win. You have to work hard and you have to work smart, but it's not one or the other. The people who were in the agency were working smart, but we're making 1 video a week. I was working less smart, but making 3 videos a day. So I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get smarter. I'm gonna make it faster. I'm gonna show you what I can do. Hard work is always your ticket in. And one of the biggest problems is people just aren't working either hard enough or smart enough. You just want it too soon, and you can be impatient and it's amazing, but better than being impatient with the results is being impatient with yourself. Most people are impatient with the results, like it's not coming fast enough. Like, where are my subscribers? Where are my views? It's not happening. My first video took me a year to get 3 comments, and the first comment was my mom, the second was my sister, and the third was some random dude, right? A year to get 3 comments, and 2 of the people were my family. You're impatient with the results. What you should be is impatient with yourself. When you're not getting results, when it's not happening, audit yourself. Are you putting in the work? Are you doing enough work? Are you working smart enough? Are you applying the right strategies? Get more frustrated with yourself and your effort more than that the results aren't there. Because if you woke up every day and did that equivalent of making 3 videos a day when other people are making 1 video a week, you will eventually win. It might be slower than you'd like, but it's always slower than you'd like, but you will eventually win because hard work is always your ticket in. So what's the process? I'm gonna give you 3 steps to follow that I think will help. Step number 1 is have a mission. I'm actually not a big believer in having 10-year goals. I think to know what you think you're capable of in a 10-year window is ridiculous. Think about who you were 10 years ago. There's no way that person can predict where you are right now. Not if you're growing, not if you're having any kind of success, not if you've evolved as a human. The goals you had 10 years ago, I just started my YouTube channel 10 years ago, right? 29 years old, 10 years ago, I was just starting my YouTube channel. There's no way I could predict where I would be here. The goals that I would set for myself when I was 29 would be totally off compared to where I'm at right now. It's great. I think you can have a 10-year goal. I think you can hit it. The problem is I think that's small compared to what you're capable of. So instead you have a mission, something that motivates you, something that drives you, something you want to work hard at every day, something so big that you will never accomplish in your lifetime, and yet you wake up every day and want to take another spoon from the ocean, right? Every day you take another spoonful out of the ocean. You're never going to take all the water out, but you took another spoonful and another spoonful and another spoonful. So what's your mission? More important than having a 10-year goal, what is the mission that you are on, that you have to see birth into the world because it matters, because you are built to serve, because you want to have an impact on the people around you? Number 2 is have play bigger triggers. I'm a big believer in play bigger triggers, which means you have things in your environment that trigger you for success. So the Doritos bag here, no, I'm not sponsored by Doritos. It's a play bigger trigger. I want to eat these all day long. It's a reminder to myself that I'm stronger than the Doritos, because damn the Doritos. These pictures all mean something to me. They all mean something. They may not mean anything to you, but they mean something to me. The plaques down there from my YouTube awards mean something. The cast that you can't really see, but what I wore on my neck for 60 days when I broke my neck in 2 spots on my first trip, on my first tour this year. It means something to me. My first camera is down there too that I used for 2 years. All these things, it reminds me of who I am. It reminds me that I'm stronger than I am right now in the moment, that I'm capable of great things, that I finished my tour with a broken neck in 2 spots and still went to another 30 days on the road. That's crazy, right? It's hard to imagine that I did that. And so that's how I remind myself that I did that. I have the cast there. And so whatever makes you feel bold, whatever makes you feel confident, whatever makes you feel alive, put it in your environment, your physical environment, your actual office where you're doing the work, but also your virtual environment. What's on the background of your cell phone? What's on the background of your desktop, right? What do you have? You're looking at it multiple times a day. Does it fill you up? So having a play bigger trigger for yourself. What do you need to have in your environment? Because you only set it up once, right? I only set this up once. I only put this here once. And every day I walk in and it triggers me for success every single day. And set number 3 is pass the pillow test. So I have a pillow test where if you have a pillow, right? Before you hit the bed, before you hit your pillow, don't hit the pillow. Before you hit your head on the pillow, if you're very angry, you can hit the pillow. Before you hit your head on the pillow, ask yourself, are you proud of the effort that you put in tonight? That's the pillow test. If you woke up every day and you were proud of the effort, even if you didn't get the results, but you were proud of the effort that you put in, that today I did something that made me feel proud, that was outside my comfort zone, that I wanted to quit, but I kept going regardless, that I did another take, another video, even though it didn't get the result, I'm proud of what I did today. If you woke up every day and did that and you're proud of your effort, you're gonna create amazing things. Most people aren't proud of their effort. Most people will do just enough of what the client wants, or just enough of what you think your audience wants, your customers want, or just enough. You do just enough. You have to do more than just enough. Tie your self-worth to the effort you're putting in instead of the results. Ask yourself tonight, are you proud of the effort that you put in? I'm proud of the effort I'm putting in on this video. Do I get a result? Do you love it? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe it's the worst video of all time for you. That's on me. I need to get better. I'm working on it every single day. I'm trying, but I'm proud of the effort that I'm putting. I'm trying. And if you woke up every day and you were trying your hardest, chasing down the goals and the life that you want, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it because you're unstoppable. But only if you're putting in your maximum effort every day and you pass the pillow test. Cold calling still works, it's just not as effective anymore. Advertising on cable TV still works, it's just not as effective anymore. Billboards still work, just not as effective anymore. Success in any field will come down to both working smart and working hard. You need both. Lots of people work hard and never get anywhere. They never get results. They stay small. But they're working hard. And lots of people work smart, but they never win because they're not working hard enough. It's the combination. You need both. So the message I take from Dan here is you need to work hard. That you have a goal and you attack it. That if your goal is to call 200 people a day, that you are off attacking that goal, that you're not giving up, that you're not letting excuses get in the way, that you're not letting other people's judgments or say, hey, take it easy. You want a different life than the people around you. And to do that, you need to work hard and attack your goals daily. So that's working hard. But for the working smart part, because remember, we need both, for working smart, I just wouldn't put cold calling at the top of the list of things to generate sales and be effective. Here are the 3 ways that I do it that maybe you can learn from. Number 1 is I create content. I would much rather create content that is a magnet that brings people to me than me having to go chase people down. When you create content like I do on YouTube here, the content you have can generate leads and sales and awareness and attention and distribution and partnerships and media exposure forever, right? I have videos here on YouTube that 10 years ago when I started my channel are still getting views, are still getting subscribers, are still generating attention, are still generating leads for my business. And so the more that you can create content around your theme, your ideas, your message, you're an expert. You've got ideas that are different, right? You've got strategies that are different. You see the world in a different way. Share it with me. Tell me. And people will find it. And people will come to you. And it's way easier to convert somebody who's coming to you than for you to go off and cold call them. The second way I generate sales is through relationships. So I spend a lot of time on relationships. And this might be counterintuitive because I'm an introvert. And so I'm not out networking. I don't go to networking events. I'm never the guy to introduce myself and say, hey, I'm Evan, what do you do? That is not me. I don't talk to the person on the elevator or on the dog walk or on the airplane next to me. Not on the airplane next to me. You can't do that. On the airplane seat next to me. I don't do that. I'm introverted. But I value relationships, and the longer you stay in something, especially when you start to show results and you get good at something, you acquire skills, you start to connect with people. And then I make it a point to try to bring them value. And so I have a list of maybe about 50 people now that every quarter I try to bring some kind of value to. People who've accomplished a lot more than me, a lot of people who I profile on this channel, even guys like Dan Pena and Gary Vee and Mel Robbins and Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins and all these people that I profile that I've built some connection with. I try to find ways to bring them value at least once a quarter. And so I have a simple Evernote file and I have my key contacts in there. And so I make a point of looking at that Evernote file every week. And if there's somebody who I haven't brought value to in the past 3 months, then I find a way to bring value. I find a way. Maybe I give them a tip on their YouTube strategy. Maybe I reshare something that they're trying to get exposure for. Maybe I find out that they're doing a new book launch and I try to help out as much as I can. I try to find out something that I know is important to them and figure out a way to add value. And that takes some sleuthing. Some people are a lot easier than others. But doing the work, building the relationships, because those lead to connections, those lead to business growth, those leads to things coming back to you. So quick example with Gary Vee. Gary launched his new wine collection, Empathy Wines, and he's been promoting on his YouTube channel. I'm not a big wine drinker. I don't really know people who are drinking a bunch of wine. My dad makes his own wine. So I could be a customer, I guess. I could buy a bottle a week or whatever his program is, but more important is, can I be a distribution for you? And so I messaged him and his team and said, hey, we do a lot of Gary videos. Do you want to have a custom message? Can we put something at the end of it that talks about Empathy Wines? And so he sat down with his team and he filmed this video.
Evan, thank you so much for having a couple seconds and being able to tell the Believe Nation a little bit about Empathy Wines. It means a lot to me that you would take this valuable real estate and time on your channel to give me some love. It means a lot. It's just good karma points.
And it's in that, it's the major karma points for you, right? That's what I want for you guys. I want people to feel like, not that they owe you karma points, but that you're giving them so much value, that you're a name, that when you ask for something, because eventually you're gonna need help, right? Nobody's an island, that they wanna open that email, that they will struggle to try to find a way to help you because you've given them so much value. And so make a list. Mine's about 50 people, make however long a list you want, of people that you wanna stay in touch with, you wanna bring value to, you wanna find ways to help them out, that you're following them on social media and you're seeing what they're paying attention to and where they're engaged and what they're talking about, and then try to find a way to help them when they need help. That gives you major karma points, and that's gonna come back to really help your business grow. Building the relationships. And then step number 3 for me is I speak. So speaking at events, speaking at paid events where I travel around the world, or my own events where I do my tours. Now did the 2019 tour, planning 2020 tour, 90 days, 23 cities, East Coast, Texas, maybe Mexico, doing free events here in Toronto where I speak once a week when I'm in the city, speaking. You can record it, that becomes content. Back to point number 1 of make content. But speaking at events, it gives you authority. It connects people to you. People want to come up and talk to you afterwards. It leads to a lot of business opportunities. You're an expert. You're a genius. You have ideas that people need to hear. And so look at different events that you can either host yourself or you can get on stage where other people are hosting, whether you get paid or not, just to build the experience, to build the credibility, and build the context to be seen as the go-to person for XYZ in your industry. So it's that combination of working both hard and smart. It's not one or the other. Successful people do both. There is no longer any acceptable reason why you can't get the mentors that you're after and start winning. The opportunities that are in front of you right now did not exist for your parents, and it's only getting easier. But you still have to do your part. You still have to reach out. You still have to want it. It's actually less about winning the lottery and where you came from, and much more about how badly do you want it and how much are you gonna put in to get after it. Because if you are willing to put in the work, you can beat out somebody with 1,000 times more resources than you. So every night I go on Twitch and I stream my League of Legends games, twitch.tv/Believe Team here. And there was a guy who joined me last night from the Philippines. So he's from the Philippines, and he says that his goal is to be a professional League of Legends player. And the challenge is there's not a big League of Legends scene in the Philippines. There's no professional teams. There's only one player right now named Dick Smithy, who's a jungler. Where did he go? He was jungler for Team Liquid. He signed with a new team. It escapes me right now. There's one person who was born in the Philippines who's a pro player right now and makes his living as a professional League of Legends player. This guy joins my live stream last night, and he says he's a support player from the Philippines, and that's his ambition. He's gonna grind it out. He wants to get noticed. He wants to get picked up. He wants to be a professional League of Legends player. The crazy thing is, that's actually possible. It's actually possible for him to do it. It's actually possible for him to get training, for him to get mentorship, for him to reach out, for him to get in contact with people. Here he is. He's in the Philippines. I'm in Canada, and we're talking, and we're connecting on my live stream. It's actually possible. It wasn't possible even 10 years ago. Definitely not for his parents. You look at what his parents are doing, where they came from. You could have some dream, but at that time, the dream was probably just to come to North America, or just to have this one little thing that existed in the world currently, right? This limited mindset, because there were limited opportunities. But right now, the opportunities are insane. You have a thing called the internet. People didn't have it before. The opportunities are insane. You are competing against the world, which is bad for a lot of North Americans, but it's amazing for everybody who's outside, or amazing for anybody who's willing to work hard. It's not even bad for North Americans. It's bad for anybody who's lazy, who's slow, who's maybe had things handed to them. There's a lot of people in North America who had nothing handed to them, but they're willing to work hard. If you are willing to work hard, if you are willing to show yourself, it's never been easier to win. Justin Bieber got discovered on YouTube. You don't need to have a manager anymore. You don't have to go through the system. You don't want to, I got a publisher for my deal, but you don't want to have a publisher? Publishers reject you? Great, go off and self-publish. David Goggins did. Lots of people created #1 bestsellers just from self-publishing. You can bet on yourself if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to put in the effort. It's never been easier to win. And so I look at this guy from the Philippines. It might be easier for me, right? Me sitting here in Canada, if my goal was to be a professional League of Legends player, sure, it might be easier for me. Sure, I might have more resources. Sure, I could afford coaching and go to tournaments and meet people. But it's also never been easier for him, because in the past, it would have been only available to me. Now, it's available to anybody. And if he has the heart and the hustle and the drive and the intention and the will to go off and do it every day, he can crush someone like me, even if I have 1,000 times more resources than him. And you can too. How? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process. So step 1 is find aspirational mentors. Find people who you wanna be like. Maybe they're from the same country as you, maybe not, maybe same background as you, maybe not, but they're doing the thing, or they have done the thing that you want. And learn from them. There's videos on them, there's books on them, there's podcasts on them, there's interviews with them. Learn from them, study them for 2 things. 1, just the motivation to know that if they could do it, you could do it too. Right? Just the hope This is why I started doing what I did in terms of modeling success and having these people, behind me on my wall, and why I do all these YouTube videos is because I wanted the hope, the belief that if other people could do it, I could do it too. I look at somebody who came with less, chances are the people who you look up to started with less than what you already have right now. And so seeing that they came from there and accomplished this thing makes me feel like I can too. It gives me hope. And second, it gives you strategies. You look at what they did and say, wow, this is what they did. This is the path they took. I can copy that. Success leaves clues. It won't lead you to all the way 100%, but if it gets you 80% of the way, all you have to do is figure out that last 20%, because they took you 80% of the way instead of you figured everything out yourself. I'm a product of learning from Jeff Bezos, from Steve Jobs, from Kanye West, from the people that I profiled on my channel. I'm a product of aspirational mentorship. I may never meet Jeff Bezos. I probably won't get the chance to work under him and be mentored by him and sign up for his coaching program, right? Probably not, but I can learn from him. I did in this video, and I've done so in many other of the videos that I've done on him too. You can too. Who has done what you want to do and then be around it daily. Number 2 is in-person mentors. You're looking at people who you can actually meet one-on-one, people who might be in your city, people who might be coming to your city. When I was doing my tour, people would come and meet me because they wanted to ask me some questions. Look at who's coming to your city, or maybe you have to go and do a 1, 2, 3, 8-hour drive. People came from Boston and New York to come and see me and interview me here in Toronto because they wanted the one-on-one access, right? Especially if you're from far away, people will give you more time. And so find out who has done what you're trying to do. Jeff Bezos may not be taking a meeting with you, but there's other people who've accomplished a smaller version. You're now talking about learning from the richest man in the world, one of the most successful people in the world. There's a lot of people who've done what you want to do on a slightly smaller scale who are way more accessible. Reach out. Say you're trying to do this one thing. You have one question for them, and that's the key. Don't go to somebody and say, will you be my mentor? Don't do that. It's disrespecting their time. Just say you have one question for them. You have one question, and then get the answer. Most mentees suck. Most people will come back then a week later and say, oh, I have another question. Like, don't worry, what happened to the first question? Did you do it? I told you to do this. What did you do? Like, oh, well, that was too difficult, or it didn't work out. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. If you get advice from somebody for the one question, it's the most important question for you, you have to go off and do it. And if it doesn't work out, if it works out, great, then come back and ask another question. Say, hey, I followed your advice. Look at what I did now. Now I'm facing this problem. Right? If it doesn't work out though, they might ask, well, how many times did you try it? And it better be at least 100. If you said that you tried it 2 times and it didn't work out, you're totally disrespecting their time. Don't be a sucky mentee. That's a brutal attitude to have. If I told you make a video and gave you feedback on how to make a video, and then you went off and you said, oh, it didn't work. How many times did you try? 3 times. I don't want to see. You're wasting my time. Why are you disrespecting coming with another question when you haven't even taken the effort on the first one that was so important to you, right? Now, if you said, I did 100 videos, I recorded 100 videos and it still doesn't work out. I badly want this to work. Then I'll take a look. I'll take a second look because you're putting in the effort. The problem is the mentor is putting in the effort. You're not matching it. Even though it might be only 15 minutes of effort for them, their time is a lot more valuable than yours right now. Right? So their effort is not being matched by your effort. You need to match, you need to come up, and you need to put in massive effort, and then they'll want to help you again. So first is aspirational mentors, second is in-person mentors, and then the third would be online mentors. And these are people who you can meet even right now. You can meet me. I'm doing a Twitch stream probably tonight. You can go twitch.tv/BelieveTeam. Come join me. I do Instagram lives. Whoever you're looking up to, chances are they have some kind of live stream or somebody in the industry has some kind of way to reach out. Maybe it's an Instagram DM. Maybe they're going live on Instagram. Maybe they're going live on YouTube. Maybe they're going live on LinkedIn. Maybe they have a way to ask them a question on Twitter, right? This hasn't existed typically, right? This is a new phenomenon in the past 10 years where people who you look up to, respect, admire, you can actually ask them a question and get a response, even though you may never meet them. I think about when I was younger, I love the Toronto Blue Jays. I love the Toronto Blue Jays. And I love baseball in general. And so I would write to the different players on the Blue Jays as well as teams to ask for an autograph card. And teams would sometimes write back. And I remember the first team that wrote back was actually the Texas Rangers. Gave me a signed Nolan Ryan picture. Nolan Ryan, Hall of Fame baseball player, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And I sent a letter to them and talking about why I love Nolan Ryan. And I don't know, a couple months later, they sent me back in the mail. I kind of forgot about it, but they sent me back in the mail this signed picture of Nolan Ryan. And it blew me away that they actually took the time to read my letter. Now, did Nolan actually read the letter? Probably not. He probably has a stack of cards that I've just signed, but it made me feel special as a little kid. But think about that process. I had to write a letter and mail it, and then a couple months later get a response. Now you can see people on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and you get freaked out when they don't respond to you. Well, if you only write one comment, don't expect to get a response, right? Be a known quantity. But the people who have the knowledge that you are after that can help you get to where you need to be are available. They've never been more accessible in human history. So how badly do you want it, and are you going to reach out or not? If you want to sign up for the entire Billionaire Mindset series for free and get the companion bonus PDF calendar, check the link right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.